On this video, I break apart the Kilominx, I build it back up, I solve it, and I show you how. Stay tuned, watch. Okay, so before I get into this tutorial, I want to break it apart and kind of show you the guts of this puzzle, kind of just show you what it looks like inside. If you've never seen the inside of this puzzle, kind of interesting to look at. So with that said, let's go ahead and break it open. Let's try that again. All right, much better. So let's go ahead and kind of look at this thing. So in this puzzle, there's tons of little like twisty, sprockety things. They're not really like, they're kind of stretchy a little bit, but yeah, this puzzle has got a lot of little tight pieces. Honestly, let's bring this back into frame. I couldn't even imagine being the assembly person for this puzzle. I picked this thing up for probably like $5.99, I think $6. There's got to be 40 pieces here. Like each one of these pieces goes between this, and when I first broke this apart, it took me about 20 minutes to actually reassemble it. You have to be paying your employees like 80 cents an hour, to, in my opinion, to justify this puzzle at that cost. So with that said, let's go ahead and get this thing back together. All better. All right, so now it's time to crack into the Kilominx. First things first, let's go ahead and get it scrambled. All right, so it looks like it's very scrambled up at this point. So first things first, it's time to build the white layer. I always start with white because again, it's the most, for me, it's the most referenceable. I always start with the white first. That's just a common thing in my videos, and by now, after about 85 videos, you should know that. Since the Kilominx doesn't have a center like the Megaminx, because the Megaminx, these right here would be centered, so you'd have the colors kind of corresponding each one and build around that. So kind of like the 2x2, you got to build the face. Oftentimes, this puzzle can be referred to as the 2x2 Megaminx, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and get at it. This is going to be more of an intuitive step. Building this white layer is really just about being more comfortable with the overall puzzle. So I'm going to say, like right here, here's a white and green. I'm going to go ahead and shift that up. So now that's kind of, there's the greens, there's the whites. Let's travel around. I see there's a white, red, and blue. Well, there's red right there and white. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this piece kind of around till it, I can kind of get it in here. So now that's in place. So we got 3 of the 5. Blue, blue. Again, this is a very intuitive step. So not much excitement here. The one thing I will say about the Kilominx, and especially this one, is that if you have a piece that's off like that, and you're like, let's say it's back here and you're trying to solve something, oftentimes it doesn't. That one, in that case, it did corner cut, but if it's some odd piece back, it just often doesn't corner cut, and it's very annoying. But either way, like that, I'm like trying to turn, and I'm moving these pieces, and they're getting kind of caught, and they're odd, and so there you go. With that said, there's the full top white face, and now we can move on to step 2. All right, so for step 2, I like to take this puzzle and go from here, and I like to flip it over like that. Now, I'm not gonna like flip it and not completely look at the bottom, because what I'm trying to accomplish in this case is solving these little corner pieces that are like right here, right there, kind of at the tip of each of these bottom layer pieces, or these top layer pieces, I should say. So in this case, I would normally rotate until I find something that kind of lines up. And in this case, it already was lined up. So I got my purple, my yellow right there, and that's in place. So notice how orange up top, you wouldn't normally know this is an orange color because, again, you need to build the face. So the only way to really know which is what is if you've memorized the puzzle, or if you line these, these pieces together so you have like this formed edge. I call it a corner, but I guess they're all technically either corners or edges, so whatever. The debate's out there. So let's go ahead and move on. So see if there's anything else in the area, but I think the best thing to do is just to kind of pick it and start. So I need the blue and the yellow. Well, I see blue and yellow right there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it down so it doesn't fit. So now it's time to kind of do that move where you're going to kind of bring it up so you're going to kind of bring it up, bring it over, bring it down. bring it down again. You know, this is again a very intuitive move, I should say. Like one of those things where you kind of just fiddle around with it until it locks in place. And I got 2 there. And this one, it's really hard to mess this step up, especially if you're kind of going around. So if you just continue to rotate the puzzle and just solve these edges as you go. So I need the red and the blue. It's right there. Let's go ahead and bring it down. It fit in place. If it was the opposite way, then I would have changed that. Green and red. Green and red's right there. So let's go ahead and rotate it up. And it doesn't fit in place, so I'm going to bring it out. And now it's in place. So the last piece is going to be that right here. It's going to be between the green and the purple. So it's right here. So if I were to bring that piece down, it doesn't fit right. So I got to bring it up. I got to be mindful of this edge right here, because when I bring it up, I got to be mindful and rotate this one over. So I have to make sure this goes back in place. So I'm going to show you how that's done here. I'm going to bring it up, take it out, and put this back in place. So now I haven't disrupted that edge at all, and these are all continually intact. And now I'm going to bring this back down again. It doesn't fit, so I'm going to try that over again. So I'm going to, again, bring it up, bring that out, be mindful of it. So I'm bringing it over here, bringing this back down, and I'm going to rotate it all again. So now that's in place, that's in place, that's in place, that's in place, that's in place. So they're all there. Now it's time to solve kind of the last of the second layer, which are these pieces kind of completing the face. So I understand, like, you know, kind of like reviewing the footage, that it's really hard, especially how close this camera is. I like showing the puzzle close because it gets, you know, it makes it very vivid. But these intuitive steps, you know, again, it really comes down to just being more intuitive. So if you don't feel comfortable enough with this puzzle, you might want to play around with it to where you can actually solve this white face completely on your own. And you can build up these pieces too, because again, these don't really require any algorithms. It's really just about feeling around the puzzle. And just, I guess the very last step would be to kind of be mindful of the edge you're moving out of place. So going from this point on, now that this is solved and these are all solved, it's really about this right here. So now we're solving these pieces. So this is going to be a little bit more algorithm heavy. And again, these are very simple algorithms, so it's not really something too hard to memorize. And if you've solved plenty of puzzles, this is a very common move. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and find any pieces up here that aren't gray. So I see this one right here. It is red, pink, and is like beige. It happens to be in the red area. Well, it's facing this way. You can do one of two things. You can do this, you know, RU, R prime, U prime move until it's all in place, or you can just be aware of the fact that it's to the left of it. So you're gonna basically do a U move, R, U prime, it's in place. Very simple. So moving right along, let's go ahead and find another piece. So these are actually all gray. So I'm gonna have to move all these pieces out. So I'm gonna replace it. So I'm gonna do the R, U, R prime, U prime move. So taking it out, and I'm gonna go ahead and find its little home. So here's the yellow right there. Here's a good example of the R, U, R prime, U prime move. So in this case, it's up right here. You need to go right there. Taking this, you're gonna go R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime. You don't need to do U prime in this case because it doesn't really make a difference. But you do that algorithm until it's all in place. So now let's see what else is next here. We have this light blue, green, and tan. Let's go ahead and rotate it around until we find that. And sure enough, here's the green right there. Same exact thing. R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime. And it's in place. It's a very redundant step, something you can easily master. Again, I need to take this out. Yours might not be the case, but it is for me. Here's the blue. Blue's up top, like before. R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime. It's in place. All right, last but not least, we have the purple face here, and this is going to be a very simple move. Again, this is going to be to the right. So since you're going this way, it's going to be a U prime move. So it'll be U prime, L prime, U, L. And it's in place. Now all we have left is this top layer. But everything else has been solved. All right, so last layer orientation is basically getting all of these gray pieces in this, since it's gray as the top, this bottom last layer, it's white as the top layer. It's about getting all of the grays facing up. It doesn't matter where they're at. All that matters is that they're facing up. So what I do here is I basically I see one right here. If there was none, pick any side you want. Since I have one right here, I'm going to naturally just start right there. So holding this puzzle with it facing, this is the face right here in front of you. You're going to do the R prime, D prime, R, D move over and over again until it's done. Kind of like the Megaminx when you're basically flipping it over and you're doing this move and then you're just rotating it and getting the next gray piece. And if you have a gray piece, you just kind of move past it. So let me show you how that looks, okay? So it's going to be like this. The grays on this side. If there's no grays, you can just start from scratch. And you're going to go R, then you're going to go over here, D prime, R, D. And it's very important that you do that last D move when you're finished. So I have to do it again, R prime, D prime, R, D. Even though I didn't have to do the D move and this is already in place, you do the D move, and then you rotate it, and you do a U prime move. So now this next one, if this was gray, you would just do U prime again, move past it. But since it's not, you're going to sit there and you're going to do the same exact thing again. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R. See, it's in place. D. Very important. Rotate it again and start again. R, D prime, R prime, D. As you can tell, my puzzle is very locky. It just all the pieces move out of place. It's very annoying. R prime, D prime, R, D. Last but not least, rotate it all over again. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, oh my gosh, D. All right, there we go. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D. Notice how everything is back intact, and now all of the gray pieces are up top, and now you've officially oriented the last layer. All right, so now that you've oriented this last layer here, meaning that all the pieces that you want, the top layer pieces are facing upwards, you have two different cases you're going to experience with this last layer. The first one is going to be where none of these pieces seem to match, and by matching, I'm saying are next to each other properly. So what you're going to want to do is kind of rotate it around until you find pieces that match. In this case, there's one right there, and the other one should be right there. It is. So it's either going to be on this side or this side. Since it's this case, you're going to want to hold it to where the puzzle is facing you like this. You have this solved piece there and this solved piece here. You want both these pieces to be on your right-hand side, and they're not going to be in the correct place at all. So holding it like this, with again these two pieces right there, and these are free to your right, you're going to perform this algorithm. R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. And in that case, it brought me back to where it needed to be here. So we'll do it again. Basically the same exact algorithm. Sometimes it happens where we have to do it twice, but in this case it is. Usually it just solves it. So let's go and walk through. So again, holding the puzzle like this with the solved edge piece right there and solved edge piece right there. These are free on this right side. Holding it like this, you're going to perform this algorithm. R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. there you have it. It's all solved. All right, so the second case you're going to experience is having it to where you have kind of like two pieces that are kind of solved, like, you know, two little edges that are solved there and two that are solved here, and just one rando. You don't need to worry about, you know, lining it up with the color because it just doesn't make any sense to. So you can put it anywhere you want. You know, we'll just put it there. Sound good? All right. So you want to have the two edges, one on the right side, one on the left side, with this front face right there. And you're going to perform this algorithm. Again, you're going to be setting it up to where it's, you know, where you had the kind of the first case, and you're going to do this algorithm essentially twice, maybe 3 times if it, you know, requires you to do it 3 times. So either way, it's going to be that, again, that same T-perm move, the R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, I can never get it, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. So again, you got it now to where you're going to just rotate them around. There's one right there, and the other one is right there. So in this case, you want to have it to where this is facing to the right. These two are the solved ones. With this facing in the front, do it all over again. R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. And now it's all solved. So now you've seen both cases. Alright, I hope that video is very informative for you. At this point, you should have successfully finished the Kilominx. If not, rewind. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it made sense. I hope it kind of gave you some more insights on the Kilominx and the functionality of it and how to solve it and the algorithms involved with it. I'm going to be traveling next week, so I'll be in LA and Vegas. And so if you want to see those adventures, I will put a link to my vlog, my daily vlog, so you can follow along on my journey kind of as I go to Vegas and LA, and I'm going to go to Disneyland, and I'm going to be doing some cube related stuff there as well, so you can kind of get a behind the scenes look as to what I'm going to be doing there, some funny stuff. So don't expect too many videos next week. I might put one kind of like general travel recap. Again, I have an idea, maybe through Instagram, so we'll see. So I'm going to be playing with it, but you'll be fully notified. So I would say probably one video next week will be out, but that's probably going to be it. And I get back next week on Sunday, so not this Sunday, but next Sunday I'll return, and I'll be putting out more videos. Looking forward to some unboxings. I got some things coming, so I should be doing a few unboxings next week. So with that said, have fun, happy cubing.